caution because it can be terrifying what you start to find with this. A simple squeegee that you can use infinitely. This is a hard question to answer. And then I like to use a Scrub Daddy non-scratch scrub sponge. Amazing combo. Hey, it's Brandon here, and in this video, I'm going to be answering your cleaning questions. I'm gonna be real, I'm very excited about this because I've been meaning to do a Q&A video for a while, and boy, did you guys give me some awesome questions over on the community tab. And now I'm mildly nervous because hopefully I have some good answers for you too. So let's get into it and help you clean that up. So question number one here comes from Colton's Vacuum Collection. They ask, what's your opinion on robot vacuums and hard floor washers like the Hoover Streamline? Now, I gotta be honest, I've never owned a robot vacuum. Can you believe it? Like, I should totally own one. It's kind of been a blind spot, and the houses that I've lived in kind of wouldn't be able to work well for a robot vacuum over the years. However, my friends and family have had them, and they absolutely love them and rave about them. And so this year, I think I'm gonna get one, test it out, and I will definitely report back. Definitely drop a comment if you have one or like a preferred brand. If you've had a few of what you like and suggest, I am all ears because it's definitely a blind spot in my in my cleaning career, I won't lie. Now, the other part of Colton's question here is, do I like hard floor washers like the Hoover Streamline? Absolutely love them. I actually have one right here off camera. It's the 1-power version with battery powered. Really like them. Now, a lot of times with hard surfaces like wood floors, LVP, and certain vinyls, I see a lot of people using steamers and things on those types of floors. And the problem with steamers is that they can damage wood floors or LVP and totally ruin those types of floors over time. So when it comes to these floor washers like the Hoover Streamline, I love them because it's a great alternative machine to steamers, and it's an automatic machine which is gonna speed up your floor cleaning process in general, but it's not gonna cause damage. And because it has a built-in vacuum and things, it's gonna pull even more moisture off the floor so they dry quicker and look amazing. Now, one quick note, just with any type of automated floor machine, make sure you are using a neutral pH floor cleaner, just because you don't want to use a cleaner that could leave a residue behind and then start to get sticky and just get dirty faster over time. So I know the Hoover Streamline, the bottle that it comes with, is neutral pH. I asked them, but you can also use things like the Zep neutral pH floor cleaner, along with Ecolab makes one that you can get at Home Depot. Now, I noticed there was another question. C Ziegler's 3794 asks, what is the best cleaner for linoleum? Same answer there too. Check out a neutral pH floor cleaner. Those are the best option for pretty much any hard surface because they're gonna dry in a neutral pH state, so they won't attract dirt over time, leaving your floors cleaner longer. Next question here. How do you get stubborn hard water spots off a glass shower door? I get asked this question probably 10 to 30 times a week, and it's definitely a top 3 question. I do have a full walkthrough on my channel here on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description. Definitely check that out. That kind of goes through my full process, whether it's not too bad or really, really bad. But when it comes to those really stubborn ones, what I like to use is a product called Barkeeper's Friend More Spray. It's a great cleaner that breaks down the hard water with oxalic acid, just like regular Barkeeper. But this one clings really well on vertical surfaces like your glass shower doors. And then when it comes to scrubbing, I like to use steel wool grade 00004 I think it's like the ultra fine steel wool. That mixed with the Barkeeper's Friend does a great job of removing pretty much most hard water that I run across. The one thing just to always look out for with steel wool is to make sure the surface is properly lubricated and wet with the cleaner before you start scrubbing, just because you just want to be super careful and not damage the glass. So at GDNJR832 asks, what is the best sequence for cleaning an entire house? What is the right frequency? How do you incorporate deep cleaning for specific areas and tasks? And how can you estimate how much time is needed per week to keep a house clean? There's some great questions here, and if I'm being real, I could probably talk on this for a few hours just because there's a lot to unpack. and a variety of ways to kind of look at it and build out a good schedule to keep your house clean. Now, I am working on a video kind of deep diving into my process and how I like to do this. And I did actually do a full video series this past spring for my spring cleaning spree. I did 30 videos cleaning all around the house in 30 days. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check out the playlist because I share a lot of these things and kind of how long they take me and kind of how I calculate that a little bit. But kind of a quick answer is I like to break it down into areas. So for instance, I have daily cleaning tasks, weekly cleaning tasks, monthly cleaning tasks, and then those cleaning tasks that are more every 3 to 6 months, maybe spring cleaning, fall cleaning kind of time frames. And kind of a quick synopsis here, I actually have some notes because for the longest time, I've just kind of kept this in my head and just done it because I've been in the cleaning industry for so long, and I wanted to get it out of here and on some paper so I could look at it and easily, hopefully, explain my process. So for like daily cleaning tasks, that's just simple tidying up around the house, and usually that's like 15 to 20 minutes, just stuff that is easy to do. I watched a video a while ago from a YouTuber that I love this video because it totally reset my analysis paralysis a bit, that if you see something that is a 2-minute or less task, just do it, get it done. It will completely declutter your mind. You don't have to think about it because if you're like me, you will have certain tasks that are just weighing on you throughout the day. So I've really tried to adopt that on my like daily cleaning tasks, like if there's dishes in the sink or maybe some smudges on the glass, just quickly clean it, take care of it. That way it's not sitting there and starts to build up over time. And then as for like the weekly cleaning tasks, I'll do things like, vacuuming and sweeping the floors and mopping. Always a deep clean on my bathrooms weekly, just because those are high use areas and all sorts of things happen in there that you want to make sure are nice and clean. That sounded way more ominous than I meant. Also, your kitchen, kind of same thing, just do a quick clean of the kitchen, but you're not going to do a deep clean on your oven every week. That's more of something that I build into kind of maybe the monthly to every 3 to 6 month tasks, again, depending on how much you use your oven. I go into some homes, the oven is used every single day, multiple times a day. Other homes maybe use it once a week. So that's kind of something where you will have to build in the proper intervals a little bit and kind of fill in those pieces depending on your needs. I get overwhelmed all the time with cleaning, and I love cleaning, but sometimes you look at your house and you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I try to remind myself 1% a day will build up over time, and on those days sometimes that I just don't want to do it, I just don't do it because you just need to take a break sometimes. So you got this, you're doing good, and hopefully I can give you some more help in the future too. So Chelsea asks how to clean pillows and bedding, removing stains. A lot of times it's drool or kind of yellowish watermarks on pillows. For that, I always like to use hydrogen peroxide. Now I also have a video on how to wash your pillows. I'll link that down in the description as well, but I like to just pre-treat them with hydrogen peroxide. That will take care of most of those spots, and then wash them in the washing machine. Quick pro tip with that though, when you dry them with some tennis balls or wool balls. That way they get nice and fluffy and don't get lumpy over time. That's kind of where pillows always get damaged or ruined, is in the drying process. But I'll link to my video so you guys can check that out. Same with bedding, hydrogen peroxide for most of those spots and spills. Now she also asks, frequency of cleaning needs to be needed to keep spaces from getting overwhelming to clean. I touched on that a little bit. I'm gonna have a video kind of more on my process for that. Just another thing too is if you're overwhelmed with cleaning, I like to mention this, or if like you're not quite sure where to start, I love to use a timer. Just set a 15-minute timer and say, I'm going to clean this space for 15 minutes, and at the end, I'm either done, or if I'm feeling good, you kind of keep going. That has always been a great way for me to kind of jumpstart my cleaning motivation, or help me kind of get something done when I'm not quite sure where to start and feeling overwhelmed. Love this question too. She asks, weird/interesting things you clean, but most people don't think to clean out on their own. Now, I don't know how weird these are, but the two things that come to mind right away are, first, your dryer vent. That is an area I find that is also many times neglected and also forgotten about. So clean that every 3 to 6 months. It's just an area that the lint can build up and possibly cause a dryer vent fire, and we don't want that. So that is one area. And then the other would be your coil on your refrigerator. If you have pets and tumbleweeds of hair kind of throughout the house, those get sucked into your refrigerator. Your coil will be very fuzzy relatively quick. I like to do that every 3 to 6 months kind of as well, and just remove kind of the back plate. Sometimes they pop out, vacuum that out real good, and it will really help the efficiency of your refrigerator and keep it running good for many years to come. That can be one area that if it gets really bad could cause it to stop working and permanently be damaged, if that makes sense. So Maria Lewis asked, what's your thoughts on enzyme cleaners? Do they break down dirt and grime easier? Is it a better clean? My thought on enzyme cleaners is I love them. They do an amazing job at cleaning your more organic stains and messes. Things like bathrooms they work great in, or even like carpet spots from pets that, you know, whether it's urine or feces or anything else, they do an awesome job. I will say though, answering if they're better or is it a better clean, yes and no. I mean, it's just another tool in your toolbox. And if you're cleaning organic stains, for instance, if you're cleaning a pet stain, like a urine spot, enzyme cleaners are the way to go, because not only will they clean the spot, but they also will attack whatever's causing the odor that can be really hard sometimes to get out of the carpet. Now, one thing to just always be mindful with enzymes is they need time to work. They're really not a cleaner that you just spray on, wipe up, or flush out and you're done. Read the label for the specific enzyme you're using, kind of see how long it's supposed to sit on the spot. For instance, one of my favorite enzymes when it comes to cleaning up like pet spots on carpet, one is called War on P. It needs time to work. And so if you don't let it work, it's not gonna get rid of the spot, it's not gonna get rid of the smell. So just read the label on those, and they work great for those specific types of organic type spots. And again, it's just another tool in your cleaning chest, and I just like to use them where they're gonna work best. So Lily Winters asks, would you recommend a cordless vacuum versus robotic vacuum? Now, as I mentioned, I've never used or owned a robotic vacuum yet, so I probably don't have a good answer for this. I will say though, I always like to have a cordless vacuum or just a regular vacuum in my house, because from what I understand and talking to friends who do have robot vacuums, sometimes they miss edges or corners of those hard to reach areas from time to time. So obviously having a vacuum that I can use and get the dirt that I see is really important. She also asks another part of the question that I like too, is it best to invest in a good quality one? I won't really speak on the robot side, but as for vacuums, yes and no. I find that there's kind of a fall off when it comes to investing in a really expensive vacuum. A lot of times you're paying for brand and kind of the name. Yes, you want to spend a good amount of money on a nice high-powered vacuum. If you go really cheap on the vacuum side, you really can't fix them and maintain them, and usually once they break, they're just a hunk of plastic that gets thrown away, unfortunately. So I kind of like to keep my vacuum pricing kind of middle of the road. I don't go super expensive, I don't go super cheap, and usually you can find a really solid vacuum in that price range. So I just did the Dumb and Dumber. To hey, to he, to hey, the. Wow. Matilda Dankin 4470 asks, best way to get sticky residue off of plastic. And she goes on to say that she has some on a small trash can that's kind of coated, it looks like here. Now, there's two things I suggest. Number one, isopropyl alcohol can work for that really well. And the other thing you can try is some Goo Gone, like the citrus adhesive removers. Both of those I've had really good success with. The one thing to just look out for with like Goo Gone is a little goes a long way. So don't spray a ton on the item you're trying to clean. Speaking from experience here, sometimes my brain just goes more is better. And so spray a bunch on there, and then you're kind of cleaning up the residue of the Goo Gone from the surface, especially if it's more of like a slick type surface. It's harder to kind of remove that sometimes. So spray a little on, kind of rub that in, wipe it off the surface, and that should be good to go. So the next question here from user, it's a big whole long thing, but I'll just read the question. What is the best way to clean and maintain wood tabletops? I'm always worried that the wood cleaner on the market are too harsh. Thanks. You know, there are a lot of wood cleaners on the market, and a lot of times when it comes to wood tops, I opt on the side of less is more. Many times I'll just use a damp microfiber towel if it's not something that's super greasy or just dirty, if it's just a quick wipe down. Now, if I'm gonna use anything, I'll probably just mix up a little bit of Dawn and some water in a spray bottle, use that. Now, obviously you don't wanna dry out the wood, My worry with some polishes or like wood cleaners is they're very oily, and you just want to be super careful not to keep spraying them on, and then that oil builds up and it gets sticky, and then you kind of have this like, I don't know, it's like almost like a tacky, it's hard to explain, but it's like a tacky, soft feeling wood table. If you felt it, you know what I'm talking about. The other thing too is Murphy's oil is a great cleaner for that. I would try one of those. I agree, there's a lot of wood cleaners on the market and I'm not impressed by many of them. And that's kind of why I usually just opt to less is more with just a damp microfiber towel and a little Dawn if needed. All right, so Alice Howard here asks how to clean mold off shower curtains. For that, I would just soak it in a little white vinegar, let that sit for a while, and then run it through a cycle in your washing machine. That usually does it for me if I have that issue. Yeah, give that a try. So Hydra WR1337 has 2 questions. I like the first one here a lot. Do those shower door spray it and forget it sprays work? Yes and no. In my experience, for like shower doors and things, the best thing to prevent just hard water building up and soap scum and dirt and grime and all that is to squeegee the shower doors on a regular basis. If that water sits on there, it's gonna, create hard water spots, or even if it has, soap scum and things like that in the water, if it's gonna stay there, it's gonna dry, it's gonna build up over time, and obviously you're gonna have to clean that off the surface. So just by taking a squeegee, removing it from the surface, you prevent it from building up and sitting there and causing issues. So do the cleaners work? Yes, but I just feel like a simple squeegee that you can use infinitely until it stops working is usually a better option in my experience. Now, they also ask, what should I be using for the tight tiled corners? I just like a nice brush from the dollar store. It's like a blue brush, it's like a dustpan brush, super long bristles, helps you get into all those cracks and crevices, or handy dandy old toothbrush works great as well. So I love this question from NH9336 because I struggle with this too. How to keep your house smelling fresh, especially with multiple pets in the home. Now this can be a bit of an uphill battle, but the main thing with pretty much any odor, but especially pet odors, is you want to make sure that you're always removing the hair, dander, and oils from your home. That way they can't sit there and cause the stinky odor. A lot of times you'll find obviously their hair just by vacuuming on your floors and things, your carpets, that's gonna help quite a bit. But then the other thing that kind of gets forgotten from time to time is, let's say their bed, they're always laying in this one spot, that oil from their coat starts to build up, it gets a little stinky from time to time, especially even on furniture. Maybe they like to lay on the couch or their favorite chair, or even the carpet as well. So you wanna make sure to flush all that out, keep those areas clean. That way their oils and things can't build up and cause a stinky odor. A lot of times you won't even notice that there's a lot of oils and things in, let's say, a piece of carpet until it gets kind of humid outside, and that humidity just like activates the smell, and all of a sudden you walk into your house and you're like, why does it smell like wet dog all of a sudden? But most likely there's oils and things in the carpet that need to be removed. Now, the other thing you could also use is a deodorizer. Febreze makes a great one. For fabrics I really like. There's also one called, oh my goodness, the name has escaped me. Odorside Fresh Scent over on Amazon. Works great on a variety of surfaces. But the only thing to always look out for with a deodorizer is that if you're not cleaning the source of the smell, you're still gonna have the smell, but then you're also gonna have like a flowery deodorizer slash, or whatever the scent is of the deodorizer slash the stinky smell. They then kind of mix together and it's even a worse smell than just the pet odor itself. So by removing the source of the odor, then come through with the deodorizer, that will keep it nice and fresh. That was a long-winded answer, but pet odors is something I have cleaned and cleaned and cleaned my entire life, and it's something I'm passionate about. And if you have more questions about it, let me know. So Pamela has a question here. Is there a trick for keeping your boots smelling nice? Not sure if this is within your realm of house cleaning, but I'm hopeful. Now, I actually did a video on this a while back, or short, where you can take some coffee filters, put a little baking soda at the center of the coffee filters, then wrap it up, then put a rubber band or like a hair tie around there. You kind of create this little baking soda pod that you can drop in your shoes or boots. And this does a great job to keep just the odors at bay and neutralize any of those stinky, funky odors that kind of develop in our shoes. Now, works the same way as baking soda in your refrigerator, so over time you will have to replace them and make new ones just because the baking soda doesn't become as effective. But I have used this in many of my shoes and it works great. Yeah, give that one a try. Bean Roblox 3312 asks, what's the best all-purpose cleaner? This is a hard question to answer because I am definitely a sucker for seeing a new all-purpose cleaner come on the market and wanting to give it a try to see what it's all about. But I will say the one that I kind of come back to all the time and use on a regular basis, and if you follow me for a while, you know this, 1 cup of vinegar, 1 cup of water, and about a teaspoon of Dawn dish soap. Super simple DIY, cleans a variety of surfaces. Now just be careful, you don't wanna use vinegar on everything. But that being said, it's a great all-purpose cleaner. I love it. You can buy a gallon of vinegar, you can buy a bottle of Dawn, and that will go a long way and make many, many batches for pretty cheap. If I was just to go to the store and buy one off the shelf, lately I've been really liking the Simple Green lemon scented all-purpose cleaner. It's just got a nice fresh scent, not too overpowering, and the cleaner works awesome. So it looks like Dayton Marshall asks, how do you get the smell out of a wet, dry vacuum? Now, I did just do a video on how to clean your vacuum like a pro, talked a little bit about getting those stinky odors out of your vacuum cleaners, but I did notice, obviously, they ask wet, dry vacuum. A lot of times what I see with like your carpet cleaners or anything that has, you know, obviously the wet side of it, is that water sits in there, it doesn't dry completely, or it's sealed off and you kind of get that moldy, musty smell in there. What I'll do for that is white vinegar, soak all the parts that I can take off in white vinegar for a while, give it a nice clean and rinse, maybe even drop a little bit of dish soap in there just to kind of degrease it if it needs that. But the most kind of important thing with a carpet cleaner, a hard surface cleaner like the Hoover Streamline, is you wanna make sure you're always rinsing out the tanks, giving everything a thorough, just quick wipe down after you're done using it, lay it out, let it dry before you put it away. A lot of times I see with like spot cleaners and carpet cleaners, someone will use it, put it away in the closet, and then won't use it for another 3 months. And by the time they come back to it, it's like a fungus party in there because it's just full of mold and mildew and it's not gonna smell good once you start to use it. So properly dry it before you put anything away. So Tia, I think that's what it is, asks, we moved into a new flat 6 months ago. Of course, we bought a new toilet seat, but I think it still smells like someone was not sitting before. Hubby is since day one, not the person. One of the many reasons I love him. I think I know what that means. The water trunk is built in, so there's no chance of getting in there. Any suggestions? So a lot of times, if you have kind of a stinky toilet or bathroom that has odor around the toilet, what I like to suggest is using an enzyme cleaner, or a bathroom cleaner that I like too is called Inside. You're gonna wanna clean the floor and all the surrounding of the toilet, just because unfortunately, as was mentioned here, I think someone was standing before and that splatter will go everywhere. And if it's just sitting there, it's gonna cause a stinky odor. So thoroughly clean kind of the whole surrounding, maybe even on the wall. Now, something else I like to do, but caution because it can be terrifying what you start to find with this, is just a black light. You will see usually exactly where the spot is smelly. And so, but that can help you pinpoint kind of what you need to clean. So I would try either the Inside or an enzyme-based cleaner, spray that on there, let it set for a while, kind of do its thing to hopefully deodorize the area. Hopefully that should take care of the odor for you in the bathroom. So Dink8125 asks, how to clean and protect. You're a Dink.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Am I?
Yeah.
What is that?
Dual income,
no kids.
No
right?
kids.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm not a Dink. So Dink8125 asks, how to clean and protect builder's grade black cabinets in an apartment. They still look good, and I would like them to still look good when I move. Thank you and love your channel. Well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. When it comes to cleaning pretty much any type of cabinet, what I like to suggest is a 3-towel system. Now, when it comes to cleaner, I'll just mix up a little dish soap and water in about a gallon bucket. I'll use 1 towel in that bucket with the cleaner to clean the actual cabinet itself. Then I'll use just a towel that's damp with water only to rinse, and then a dry, clean microfiber towel to buff and dry. That kind of 3-towel system has worked really well for me to pretty much clean just about any cabinet. Now, you will run across something maybe a little greasier from time to time, but your question more here is just how to maintain the clean. With that process, you're gonna keep them nice and clean. The biggest issue you'll run into is that your kitchen just gets greasy over time because you got cooking oils and things, and it just happens. So regular maintenance cleaning for your cabinets is going to be really important to maintain the clean. And especially with something like a black cabinet or any type of like matte painted cabinet, you see everything. So regularly wiping them down is gonna help remove like the greasiness from the cabinet so it doesn't build up over time and then become an even bigger issue to clean off when you move. So use the 3-towel system. If you really want to just stay on top of it, I might suggest just wiping down the main high touch cabinets about once a month and you should be good to go. So Lily Winters has a great question here. How do you know your mop is cleaning the floor all the way? So what I like to do is a white towel test. I'll clean the floor, let it dry, and then I'll come through with a white towel, get a little damp, scrub the area I just cleaned and flip it over. If I have dirt on the towel, probably know that I need to clean the floor again. If it's clean, there's no dirt, you're good to go. So I actually see two questions here about cleaning walls. Carmen asks, what do I use to get dirt off of walls? And then it looks like Nick here, I think I'm saying that right. How do you clean walls if they are painted and you don't want to damage it? So both of those questions kind of go together. The main thing you want to look at when cleaning walls first is the type of paint that you have. If it's a washable paint, you're good to use a variety of things. If it is flat paint, unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do to clean flat paint. Many times it's better to paint over flat paint than try to wash it just because it does not like moisture. You can try just a really lightly damp towel to see if that will remove it, or even just a barely damp magic eraser, but most of the time, anytime you scrub on a flat painted wall, you're gonna see where you clean. So just kind of understand the paint on the surface first, but then if it's a washable paint, the one thing I love is the Zep foaming wall cleaner, especially if you just have dirty areas like in a few spots. That stuff does amazing. You spray it on, wipe it with a microfiber towel, it just melts dirt and grime off of walls, especially in kind of those high touch areas like by light switches and things. And then if you're just gonna clean your walls, I like to keep it simple. I'll mix up about a teaspoon of Dawn and about a cup and a half of water in a spray bottle, spray the wall at an angle, and then use a flat mop to go straight up and straight down, kind of like you're painting, to clean the walls. So Kath2606 asks, how and with what do I clean the inside of my toilet tank? It gets all brown and a little algae in there, but I don't know what is safe to use. I think bleach will damage the seals. Talking is hard today. Okay, so for this, I suggest white vinegar. You're 100% correct. You don't want to use something too harsh that could damage the seals. White vinegar isn't going to damage any of the components in there. The other side of it too is just don't leave any cleaner or anything like that in the tank for an extended period of time. I would put a few cups of vinegar in the toilet tank, use your toilet scrubber to kind of scrub out the inside of that the best you can, then flush it through the system to make sure that you just flush it out opposed to just leaving it sit in the tank for an extended period of time. You should be good to go. Laura asks, how do I get rust stains out of silver kitchen sinks or porcelain white bathroom sinks? Barkeeper's Friend, Soft Cleanser, or the Powder Cleanser works amazing on rust. You might have to let it sit a little bit if it's bad, and then I like to use a Scrub Daddy non-scratch scrub sponge. Amazing combo. That should take care of that quick and easy for you. So at Fromafrizate, I think I'm saying that right, asks, easy DIY grout cleaner. I love to use hydrogen peroxide and baking soda, mix about equal parts until you get a loose paste. Apply to the grout, scrub with a brush, and then rinse with either a damp towel, or if you have a little extractor to remove that from the surface with some water, that will do an amazing job. I will say sometimes you need a little bit more cleaning power than that paste, so then I like to recommend Zep's Grout Cleaner. Does an amazing job. It's an acidic one, so just be careful with it. Obviously use the proper PPE and things because it is strong, and from experience, wear a old t-shirt that you don't care about because it will bleach your favorite t-shirt, and then you'll look down and be like, well, this t-shirt is ruined, and then you'll be sad. That didn't happen to me a few months ago. Sherry Sen1 asks, how do you clean a laptop/keyboard? Now, I actually have a few videos on this. I have a screen cleaning video, and then I also have a keyboard cleaning video that's a little bit older, kind of walks through the process. Essentially, what you're gonna wanna do is use 70% isopropyl alcohol, a few microfiber towels, and some Q-tips as well. I first just like to brush off the entire computer. If there's any crumbs or anything like that, kind of shake it upside down a little bit, get anything dry out of there. Then I'll apply some of that rubbing alcohol to the microfiber towel, kind of wipe down the areas. For the screen, you don't necessarily have to use the rubbing alcohol. I might just use a damp microfiber towel. If it's really bad, you have some kind of greasy spots on there, maybe kind of spot clean with that. And then the Q-tips kind of come in handy because I will dab them in a little bit of the alcohol, dry them, kind of get any excess moisture off, and then kind of go in between all the grooves of the laptop and then wipe with a dry microfiber towel. Always need to mention this, make sure your laptop is shut off and not plugged in because you don't want to fry anything or cause any damage, so make sure it's off, and that should work. But yeah, definitely check out the description below for those videos, and hopefully they're helpful. At California Dreamer 510R4 asks, so I bought an oven and there is no manual for it and I don't know how to use the self-cleaning option. Can I use easy off as long as I don't use the self-cleaning? Yes, and I actually prefer you to use an oven cleaner opposed to the self-cleaning function. This might be mildly controversial, but I don't like to ever use self-clean function on ovens because talk to multiple repair techs and things for appliances and they don't like it either just because it can cause damage, it gets too hot, or even cause issues inside your house. So usually I just spray the oven cleaner on the oven and then obviously let that sit for a while, even overnight if it's really bad, and then come through and kind of scrub. I have another video on that down in the description here, just my walkthrough on how to clean your oven. But yes, you are totally fine to do that. So anonymous cat person asks, I have a basket for my air fryer covered in old cooking spray and oil that neither oven cleaner or steel wool can remove. I feel this. I feel like air fryers are so hard to clean just because all the cracks and crevices, and they get so hot with oil and things, they are a challenge. There's another comment below it that says, Dawn power wash spray, ? Possibly. The problem is if you use oven cleaner and that didn't budge, any of that grease or grime buildup, I doubt Dawn Power Wash is gonna do it. I love Dawn Power Wash, don't get me wrong. It's just at that point, it's like usually Dawn regular dish soap, Dawn Power Wash, oven cleaner with steel wool, and then it's like, okay, now what do I do? The one last thing I would try, this might do it, maybe not, but it's something I use for actual oven racks, is fill up your sink with a ton of hot water, then drop in a dishwasher pod, like a Cascade Platinum Plus pod, drop that in there, dissolve it fully, and then drop the basket in the sink. Leave that sit overnight. Hopefully in the morning that will start to loosen up some of that baked on grease and grime so then you can easily scrub it away. But I feel ya, that you are not alone. That is a tough battle to clean up, I'm not gonna lie. Melody Spicer here asks how to get hard water stains off a fiberglass floor. Those can be tough to clean, especially because they have the non-slip kind of textured base there and dirt and grime likes to get in all the grooves. For that, my go-to is Barkeeper's Friend Soft Cleanser, the liquid version there, and then a drill brush scrubber. Apply the soft cleanser to the base and then come through and just scrub it in with a soft bristle brush, drill brush. It should get in all the cracks and crevices, completely melt that away, and I won't lie, I have brought some tubs back to life with that combo that even I didn't think would clean up as well as they did. So Linda asks how to clean hard water scale in a toilet bowl without pumice. For this, I would look into, I think it's called Lime Out. It's like a lime bottle, like a white and lime green bottle. I'll put a picture somewhere on the screen. Spencer, put that in for me. But that stuff works amazing. I've used that on quite a few toilet bowls. You squirt it in there, scrub it, let it sit for a little bit, and it should melt that right away. Now, if you can't find that, I also really like Barkeeper's Friend Toilet Bowl Cleaner. That has some of the same properties as Barkeeper's Friend with the oxalic acid in there and does a great job of removing hard water buildup. So I'm not sure how to say this username here, but at NotTurnNoir, I think, maybe, possibly, is cleaning for company. How do you clean for company? Now, this is a great question. The few things I focus on when I'm having people over, because it's easy to be like, oh my goodness, the entire house needs to be spotless and completely clean. Believe me, I've been there, I've done that, I've tried that. Usually I just get stressed out. But I focus on, does my house smell good? Because the last thing you want is a stinky house when guests come over. Is the bathroom nice and clean? And then usually the areas that you're gonna kind of spend some time in, whether that's the living room or the kitchen, I'll kind of touch those up, make sure they're nice and spot cleaned and just good to go. Now, do you have to clean underneath your oven? Probably not, but you want to kind of touch up the outside of that. Another thing that a friend mentioned, and I totally agree with this, is the inside of your refrigerator. If you tell a guest to be like, oh, go help yourself to a drink at the refrigerator, your refrigerator maybe has some old food in it, or it's kind of stinky, or just needed to be wiped down. It's another area too to kind of consider. But pretty much I just look at it as where are the areas we're going to be spending time, and then I'll kind of focus my efforts on those spaces. So Blackstar1069 asks, best and worst budget vacuum cleaners, please. I don't really know the worst, but the one I do like right now is from Hoover. It's the, I got the name right here. It's the Elite Swivel XL Upright Vacuum. It looks like it's about $130. It's a great canister upright vacuum. Comes with a bunch of attachments to clean all sorts of things. And it's easy to replace the belts and all that stuff on it too, so check that one out. So there you have it. Hopefully I answered some of your cleaning questions. Now, if you guys have any more, definitely drop them down in the comments below. And if you like this video, let me know if I should do some more in the future. If you're new here, consider subscribing so I can help you clean that up.